Welcome into the all right, let's do it again. Welcome into the T-Event Center, the side of the 2023 6A semifinals. Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart with you in a rematch of last year's 6A championship game. The Lone Peak Knights and the Fremont Silverwolves. And Dane, last year this was easily the best state championship girls basketball game we've ever seen. And this year, players change. Lone Peak has been running right through. Fremont's coming off a double overtime win. And it's going to be interesting to see what we see from both these teams tonight.
Players changed, but only one roster changed, right? And Fremont graduated so much talent, especially on that front line. And for Lone Peak, I mean, I say they arrived a year early last year. I think a lot of people thought Fremont would get that win. Lone Peak got it, undefeated, and look, they're back and ready for more. And I think a lot of people would say, hey, you know, Fremont would have to do something awfully special today to get the upset and revenge for last year's state championship loss. They're capable of doing it, but it's going to be interesting to see. Coach Dayla, she's one of the best. We know multiple Coach of the Year award winner for Rewind here, and we'll see if she's got something up her sleeve ready to go. But, boy, it is a different story this year. It
is quite the tall task, and we'll start first with the Lone Peak Knights. Our officials for this afternoon, Steph Stass and Matt Hyatt and Aaron Cochrans. We'll start first with the Lone Peak Knights over to McKaylee Ika. Remember last year's semifinals, she had the shot to beat Harriman as she drives, fall away, and gets it to go. And the bucket there from McKaylee.
And just early on, it's Allie Coombs who had the assignment there to stay with Kaylee Woolston.
Oh, there's Kaylee Woolston with the block. Kaylee ahead to Shawnee Nordstrom. Shawnee go to the elbow. The jumper from Bartholomew doesn't go, and the rebound to Cadence King.
And that's the thing. Look, they don't have Maggie Mendelson. They still do have good size in the post. You look at King. Langston has played physical for Fremont.
As Allie Coombs goes and can't finish.
Well, that's one you got to get if you're Fremont. You have an opportunity at the rim, get a shot away, you got to be able to capitalize on that.
And Katie Woolston, 4-3. Get used to that.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like she's done that before.
Send to the corner, back out to Allie Coombs, and Allie Coombs knocks down the long ball.
Good shot there by Allie, and I love that ball works its way to the corner. You get the closeout extra pass, you get it on the angle, Allie able to hit it. Fremont's going to have to hit the three-point shot at a high rate today if they want to pull off the win.
Now, one thing you know about Fremont, this is a championship program, and championship programs are hard to knock out, like a villain in a horror film. They're not just going to go away.
I mean, you can put it this way. They lost to Davis in the regular season, and then they get, you know, the second matchup, region title on the line, and Fremont takes care of business. And to your point, it's like, look, it's still Fremont.
Yeah.
You may not have the All-Americans. It's still Fremont.
Well, they still have an expectation of how good they'll be. Is on the run. It's Woolston from Tanuvasa, and Kaylee now with 5 points in the quarter.
Kaylee had a big quarterfinal game, and she is starting off the semifinal in similar fashion.
As that ball saved back in by King. Allie Coombs lost her feet, and a foul here to Naya Tanuvasa. I agree with the call, even if we have officials sitting right behind us. I'm okay with it. Tanuvasa gets her with the feet. I wanted to see the little trip. I didn't see that move on the when they went to the side of it.
The Jimmy leg.
She's got the Jimmy legs. That ball goes out of bounds. It's amazing to think that Sarah Silverman, that's the character, Kramer's girlfriend.
Yeah, I know, right?
If you don't know, go to Netflix and watch Seinfeld. As Ika couldn't get to that ball and inbound that into Doxy. Three from Coombs, back rimmed, and the rebound claimed by Woolston. Bartholomew had the run out. Kaylee didn't have a clean look. As Shawnee Nordstrom goes off the screen of Ika, hands back to Woolston. And Allie watched game film. Allie went after her, even though Kaylee was out at the Big Sky logo. 14 on the shot clock. Nordstrom Good defense from Hunt. Shawnee gets in the lane, can't get it. Woolston with the backside board. Goes back, up, and in. If you think Kaylee Wilson's just a shooter, she does more. And now a steal on the inbound, and it is a jump ball. Nice effort there from Naya Tanuvasa as we see the play from Kaylee Woolston.
You know, a lot of times you see shooters, they take a shot in there, running down the floor. How about Kaylee running to get the rebound there? She does everything. Such a fun player to watch. I've seen her for 4 years.
If you ever wonder what shooters saying in Hoosiers, but hey, don't get caught watching the paint dry. I mean, it's just don't get caught watching your teammates do the work. At least that's my interpretation of it.
Yeah.
As in the lane, Woolston left it short. Rebound to Allie Coombs on the run out. Sierra Eddy goes at Ika and gets the bucket. Thought she'd get that foul call as well.
I actually thought you could have called it because on that one it looked like Ika's coming down and maybe runs into her a little bit, but
gives us a chance to bring in our own Dean Blandino, but he's better looking. He may not be a Paisan, but it is Courtney Littledyke. Courtney, why no foul on that one?
Because they didn't put air on a whistle. That's why. I can't. You know what? Here's the one thing that you all can hear me, because I noticed it last time when you guys do these, you mute this mic a lot more than you guys are your own.
That's not true. You're open.
Yeah, it's always on.
I know. This is the one thing that you can sit here and talk about black and white and fouls and what's not a foul, but it's about game management. So they felt like there wasn't enough to put air on the whistle, and they're going to let them play on, and good for them.
See, and that's why coaches say
okay
he's one of
it.
the best, right?
Yeah.
Is because, again, we should have quotas here. 1 foul per minute, and we don't need to be wasting that on that type of a call, right?
Well, I agree with you.
And that's good enough. I'm going to
Yeah.
social with that.
Hey,
that has now become –
I love now that fouls are a zero-sum game. You only get so many. If you give one here, that's just one you have to take away from somewhere else.
So, but the question is if you're going to put one on one side, are you going to have to turn around and give it to the other side too?
Well, and that's the
Right.
problem. We have seen that. I feel like even this week, right, where that game, I don't want to say equality, right, but so many of these calls are tight that you get it the other way.
See, now I think there's one here. Coach Taylor Bout, this is why I like to break these down. We have an official. Coach Taylor Bout was like, hey, maybe it's a travel. We were clean there. We did have the foul.
So here, I will tell you the spin move is probably one of the hardest calls to make, because if you want to really slow it down, they probably travel every time. But no one wants it called. So, yes, you can probably argue travel every time someone spins. But I like the call. That's not, what the defense did, came in.
So back down the floor, 11-6 to start here. As Fremont hanging in with the reigning 6A champs as Allie Coombs gets in the lane, and now a foul to Michaela Ika. As Coombs gets inside, Ika gets a hand stuck in the cookie jar, and going to put Allie Coombs at the line. As we mentioned multiple times, Allie Coombs signed to go play for former Weber State Wildcat guard Chelsea Warburton at CEU. Now known by another name, but not on this broadcast anyway. Dane didn't take the bait.
CEU.
Oh, I actually thought you were alluding to Megan Warburton.
Well,
I thought maybe she got married or something.
Chelsea
and
Warburton, no.
Chelsea, sorry, my bad.
Chelsea. Yeah, the Chelsea Warburton, she coaches the CEU. But because I won't.
No, I know
it's
what
not
you mean.
the other school
It's
name.
the Utah State University Eastern.
Yeah, I'm like, well, who's CEU?
Who CEU? As Bartholomew lays that one up and in. I mean, it's only the program that produced Harold Arsenault and Eddie Gill, who has two of the most impressive wins in the history of this program.
Just because you grew up in their backyard doesn't mean you got to promote.
Played 7 on the line against those guys a lot. As Sierra Langston comes away with that rebound, and it's stolen by Kennedy Woolston. Now on the run, Michaela Ika. On the angle with Kaylee Woolston. Up top to Ika. Now Shawnee Nordstrom.
Fremont's been aggressive defensively.
Shawnee gets around the defender, gets right to the rim. As she got right past Cale Bryan.
She makes them pay, right? You want to come up in the space, spin off of it. No help.
I know any coach watching this knows, but Shawnee Nordstrom, an underclassman, she'll be back next year. Off the screen, they went right at Kennedy Woolston, got her on the screen, and as Dan Barney would say, dribble drive. Taylor Doxey with the bucket.
Fremont's not playing intimidated. You talk about championship cultures, Dusty, have been on display.
We knew they wouldn't. Is Ika goes right down the lane, and McKaylee Ika, who had the game-winning shot against Fremont last year in overtime.
It's extremely high percentage efficiency right now for Lone Peak. Doesn't feel like there's a lot of missed shots.
Yeah, but look where they're shooting it. They're getting to the rim every time, and it's like your percentages are always will increase, right? So they're doing a really good job at getting to the rack.
Cale Bryan gets to the rim, and that's the thing we need to make sure people understand too. Courtney Lodike's more than just a rules analysis. He is a color commentator. He's the third analyst here.
Easy.
It's the three
well,
is
just,
good.
Just as we say that, she drains a three.
From Kaylee Woolston.
I mean, that was
a logo.
It was close range for her. It was just 26 feet out. So
now here's the thing, and I don't want to. I'll save it. We'll save it for later.
Can't get rid of all the A grade stuff in the first quarter.
Yep. We're going to hold on to that one. That's it.
But I got to tell you, I'm not sure I've ever seen such restraint from Dusty.
Zing!
He's lying. As we'll take a look at that Woolston three. I mean, that's Dame Lillard stuff right there. That's where Dame shot a bunch of threes in this building.
No doubt.
As he learned it from Harold Arsenault. But to the line, Sierra Langston. Courtney knows better because he saw the game I did on Friday where I said something and I backtracked it really quick.
So true.
We texted about it the next day. I was like, I shouldn't have said that. Let's walk that
still
back.
laughing.
I had flashbacks. I was like, this is great.
Because it was the exact phrase. It was the exact phrase. That's so bad. Wait, hold on. Let's back that up. That was tough.
You're learning. I'm telling you.
I know.
I'm impressed.
It's from these sessions. As we send out the three from Cale Bryan is good. I tell you what, if there's a player the coach De La Bout has learned that she's learned about, and she knew, it's Cale Bryan. She
stepped up in the Mountain Ridge game. Yep. And 5 points here in the first quarter. Leading scorer.
A steady dose of Cale is good for you. As you go inside, Nordstrom, left hand, so smooth. Shawnee Nordstrom. And there's a steal. Kennedy Woolston. Oh, lost the handle on the pirouette. Kaylee there. Sends back out. We're going to have a moment for Courtney to explain that one. Corner three. Kennedy Woolston knocks it down after the hustle from Kaylee. But that gives us a little nugget to go back to and have Courtney walk us through if that was travel or not. It's Coach De La Bout wanted that call. As we had 10 seconds left in the quarter. Charlie Hunt comes off the screen. Charlie down the lane, left hand no, and the rebound to Bartholomew. And at the horn, doesn't have a shot on it. As we go to the end of the first quarter, it's Lone Peak 25, Fremont 14. We'll be back with some rules analysis right after this. You're watching the 2023 6A semifinals. As we come back in, I think we're a little late after the save from Kaylee Woolston. But Courtney, walk us through the travel on you have possession going toward the floor.
Yep.
Walk us through a travel violation on that.
Really, you got to remember that in order to have a traveling violation, you got to be in possession of the ball. I thought she actually realized she was going to go to the floor, got rid of the ball, and even though one thing that is always tough is sometimes just because it looks bad doesn't mean it's a travel.
Right.
So you can't just do it on that. So I thought it was a really good no call. I thought she did get rid of it first.
Just because you've never seen it before doesn't mean it's illegal.
As the three from Nayata Nuvasa doesn't go. We're going to have a loose ball foul here on Bartholomew. That'll be the 5th team foul on Lone Peak here early in the first half. So one foul to give as Kaylee Rich will come on for Sarah Bartholomew. Now, Courtney, you get high-level stuff. I mean, it's not to say you're going to be in the semifinal here at 7 p.m., but you do get a lot of girls' games as well.
I do a few. I don't do a lot of them. We honestly, I think that's one of the things that Jeff does a pretty good job of, trying to share the wealth. You know, he could load us up in a bunch of girls' games, but I think it's great that everyone gets more of an opportunity this way.
As Allie Coombs goes at Nayatana Vasa, steps through and lays that up and in. Years ago, that would have been a travel.
Yeah, probably.
Dean from Judge wouldn't have got that call, but
I know this isn't that context, but how has the Euro step changed? Maybe officiating travels. Is that
and a
little more
10-second
latitude?
call on Lone Peak. Ika kind of got stuck, fell asleep here, but let's go back on that move from Allie Coombs. Steps through.
Step through. Yep. Pivot foot, one step through and go. It's good. It's a good move. So the Euro step is, so for a long time, it just, again, it looked funny, right? So we're like, oh, it's got to be
Backcourt.
Yeah.
And then we'll walk through why backcourt. Allie Coombs looked for explanation. Now,
she's
you
totally
didn't get to hear
right.
what the official said.
This is the one rule I want. Well, there's like 3 rules I want changed. This is the rule I want changed in high school. Is the fact is that it's if you're in the front court and you're the last to touch it in your front court and go back and touch it as an offensive player, it's backcourt, even though it got tipped by the defense. To me, it's a stupid rule.
Well, because to me, she established the possession by catching it, and the
in the
momentum
front
kind of
court,
carried it.
in the
Right,
back
Yeah,
court.
this was a little bit. This one probably a little bit more so than others. But even the ones where I've had some. The defense tips it off the offensive guy's leg, and it goes back in the backcourt, and he goes back and gets his own ball, and it's by rule.
That's not the rule.
By rule, that is backcourt in high school. Yeah.
I'm referencing a conversation.
He's a particular coach that, even after showing the rule book, disagreed.
As Ika going to drive, leaves that one for Kaylee Rich. Couldn't get it cleanly. Kaylee sends back out top. That is a high percentage decision, but just did not go there for Woolston. And the board and on the run with the Silverwolves.
Fremont finally catching a break. Lone Peak missing a shot.
Because if that had gone in, it would have been, are these rims regulation size or what?
No kidding.
Craig Cusick would tell you the rim is the same size no matter what. As that ball goes out of bounds.
I don't understand what you're asking. I think it was the same.
16 years ago, 17 state tournaments ago.
I don't know if you've heard that story. That's legendary. Halftime.
Do tell.
Yeah.
Get ready.
We don't have it on the.
There's no flashback. There's no flashback.
There's no flashback. I don't even have that video. That DVD does not exist. That server has been wiped and bleached. As that ball goes to the corner, Woolston steps inside the arc, and Kaylee Woolston.
14 of their 27 points from Kaylee.
I think she makes it look too easy sometimes. Eric Dickerson once said that part of the mistake he made is he made it look too easy. Now, he was being arrogant. I'm being humble for Kaylee Woolston. There's somebody like, I don't know, but it's like she just makes it look so easy and effortless. So she gets to the rim again with another bucket and a timeout to Lisa Dale about.
This is not a situation Fremont has found themselves in 5, 6, 7 years.
Holiday Hoop Fest was last time, yeah. I had them in December.
Fine weeks in state.
In-state game, yeah.
Yeah.
But how fun is this for you guys? I mean, I want to make it about the officials. We've got you here with us, Courtney. Most people don't get to hear what officials have to say.
What is this week like for an official?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on your job. Because honestly, for me, I would almost take a week off to come watch games. To me, this is it's a conglomeration of things. It's to celebrate the coaches and the players and the teams, but it's also to celebrate the officials.
But let's talk about it. Okay, so when do you know that you're doing a game on a Tuesday or Wednesday? When do you know if you get a Thursday, Friday? When do you know if you get a Saturday? Like, what is the week like?
It's usually a day before because Jeff, when he does the assignments, he has to then reverse engineer it. So he kind of has to have an idea of who he's got to protect from which teams because they may have a potential to see them later in the tournament. So he has to kind of reverse engineer it. So he has an idea, but a lot of times there's always tweaking that goes on.
You don't want the same official doing the same team
That's
through
correct.
every round, right?
That's correct. So a lot of times they'll jump from you'll do a 5A game, then you may go to a 6A game.
Allie Coombs back rims to 3. Rebound to Shani Nordstrom. Quickly ahead, Nayatana Vasa with the catch and bucket. I'm sure I know she has a lot of family in the building. Her brother play at University of Utah. Her cousin Pepe Tanavasa was a Navy kid, transferred to BYU. Deep athletic bloodlines. The only reason I went through that. Talked to Mama Tanavasa before the Westlake game as there's the bucket.
Guess who?
Kale Bryan.
Smallest player on the floor, able to come up
Rebound.
with an offensive rebound and put back.
Send this ball in the corner. Kaylee Woolston. Oh, that ball was quarter of the way down and out.
Boy, that is a quick shot.
Well,
That's
and
catch and release.
No doubt. I was going to say, she's even almost fading backward. I mean, it's like it's an incredible touch.
You look at this foul. Walk us through that one, Courtney.
Remember, I mean, here's the thing: is we're going to get. I don't want to get too far in the weeds on these, but remember, I mean, we're talking. Look at the game we're dealing with, the score, the fouls, everything goes into it. We talk about game management. The one thing we don't want to have happen is a bunch of cheap stuff like that. Now, did she pick it clean? Possibly, but is that really what we want in our game? No.
And the block to Tanavasa. Brian gets the loose ball, goes back out top. As if they go into a deeper set. I want you to tell me if I've been right. You've heard me say it a bunch of times, red zone to blue zone.
Yeah, you're so we don't always use it in those terms, but
And then a carrying violation.
that's a good call.
So good pick. And
Dusty just looks for
Steph
any opportunity to talk about football. So that's why I've been hesitant. I'm like, look, Dusty, I know you miss football.
no matter what fan base, red zone to blue zone. We're going to talk throw game later.
So the one thing that we got to talk about is you're talking about flow and everything else. The one thing we don't want to do is put cheap.
Whoa, wow. That arm does kind of come down, but I didn't think it was a full kind of hook around. Now, again, the official's right there.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those, you look at it, you go.
Oh, it does, yeah.
So it's, again, the defense doesn't do anything wrong, right? You look at it and go, what did the defense do wrong? Nothing. Offense initiated the contact.
Well, James Hardwin, not like you, as we send that ball out toward midcourt.
Well, there's not many that would, actually. But
Trey Young definitely wouldn't like you.
Because I want to know all these coaches that think that they say they like. I'm calling BS on that.
Off camera, too.
I'm not kidding you. Every time the first name is.
Officials watch our stuff way more than coaches do. And so it's not one of those things they know of any other relationship previously. But
well, it's funny. We talk a lot about when you go work. I don't care what game you work. Somebody's always watching you. And a lot of times it's opposing coaches that are out scouting games.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that means you know Randy McAllister extremely well. Because
yes, I do.
Charlie Hunt gets down the lane. Oh, what a make by Charlie Hunt. Saw her in the Utah Top 50, Dane, and a multiple-year contributor for Coach Lisa Dalebaut. There's Woolston over Eddy. And not much you can do there if you're Sierra Eddy on that one.
Timeout.
And a timeout to Lisa Dalebaut. 3:16 left in the half. We'll stay here. I think most people, we can go to break, but we'll stay here and get back to the whole thing, red zone to blue zone, kind of if I've been accurate on it or not, because Dane's always left. I keep saying it. That's why I keep bringing it up too. But player control stuff, I was told, and I think it might have been you, someone told me, we kind of look at, hey, less touching toward midcourt as we get closer to the rim, we allow more contact.
So, and I agree with the philosophy, and the part of it is like it comes down, a lot of it is hand checks. Like the one thing that came down from college was we've got to allow freedom of movement, right?
Yeah.
The
Jay Billis bill.
Yes. We are trying to, the hand checks, the arm bars, all that stuff we got to try to clean up because the defense is getting way too much advantage in this thing. So, but the hard thing for me is that what you're talking about is if the reference is east to west, if you're going, side to side on the gym and you're not really doing anything, I'm not going to be really slow. But if you all of a sudden now you turn to go to the hole and now I can see you redirected, now I think you've gained an advantage. Now I'm probably going to call foul. But to your point, the closer you get to the rim, I do like to try to let them play through some contact and see if they can finish.
Sierra Eddy step back. They say for two. We'll see if Preston was able to get that early enough to see if that foot was inside or if
it did look like it was on the line.
And there's the foul. I think we might be late on the shot here.
That's the hard thing about Lone Peak. I mean, you make a three, get a little confidence. Next thing you know, before you can even get back, Ika's at the rim. They push it so quickly.
Yeah, that's close.
Do officials ever get messed up with the flooring here?
Oh, yes.
We talk about it with the players all the time.
All the time. I mean, especially when you've got some of these, like at Slick, I think they have the
triple
NBA.
line.
Yeah, you're like, all right, which line are we calling tonight, fellas?
Well, we saw that the last few years when they had the stars there, and he had all three lines, and you saw the players tone it up from the NBA line consistently.
Yep.
and that's where the girls' tournament was. It's like you get a feeling for how deep that is. There's the free throw there from McKaylee Ika, and it's a 13-point Lone Peak advantage.
What is maybe the one thing that people don't appreciate about officiating in terms of difficulty or vision, what you see or don't see?
As far as what we see and what we don't see?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of them, come on, ref. You know, like what's the thing that maybe people don't appreciate about being on the floor or angle perspective?
Well, I think it all comes down to game management. So one of the things that I try to challenge a lot of our officials is like, I can train most people to blow a whistle, but I want to see if you have the courage not to blow the whistle and be able to understand why. It's more about the why than just doing it. And if you can explain to a coach, fans won't understand it, but really we are trying to create flow. We're trying to allow players to play, and the less we're involved, the better. So it is frustrating sometimes. You know, that's a foul. You're right, it might be a foul, but you're up 40-2. I'm not going to call a foul. Sorry.
Yeah. I like your line there. Do you have the courage not to blow the whistle? It's almost like, hey, if the game's going, we haven't done anything yet. Almost feel like there's hold on, we got this.
I can see Dusty using that going forward.
I will use that going forward.
Yeah, I know.
Just remember who gives credit.
I cite my sources. On the run, come back the other way, Coombs.
Yeah.
There's a foul. Could put Allie back at the line, and she saw the play in front of her. Walks through it, Courtney.
Oh, they called this on Ika. I thought Kaylee with the swipe.
That got her first.
Yeah, so you can see that the gal that's underneath, you guys are a lot better at the names than I am. I'm not even going to try. So you can see she steps into the path of the ball handler.
And she took the airspace away, right?
So she's going to step, boom, knock her off her balance, and then the cleanup behind her. But it was the first foul was the one on the inside. Good call.
We may have some viewers right now saying, why are we doing the official thing? Well, first of all, Courtney's a friend of the program. Secondly, this is how we get better and why we can then later inform you.
Thirdly, he's got a killer Instagram account.
We're going to get to that in a minute. And the spring flow is a little looser than the winter flow. Because when I see him at the baseball tournament later this year, he'll have a little bit of the baseball player look to him.
The little curls.
Send out for three. McKaylee Ika knocks down the triple and the lead to 12 here for Lone Peak.
Fremont just got it back to single digits. Felt like having some confidence late in the half, and then that happens.
Eddie misses on the three. Run out Kennedy Woolston. Give it up to Kaylee. Back to Shawnee Nordstrom. Shawnee sends out to Ika. Kaylee Woolston from way outside. Nothing but net. As a friend once said, that's splash 3.
I have her with, I think so. I have her with 21. So it's hard to remember how many of those are 3s and 1s and 2s.
It's a lot.
3 or 4.
It's a lot.
As the step through, that's that same move. And let's walk through why there wasn't a foul on this one here, Courtney.
So you can look. The defender actually does a really good job because she remembers that this is she's able to have her space, and so she doesn't come into them. She's allowed to move any direction except towards the ball handler, obliquely, laterally, backward, all of that except forward, and she does a really good job of maintaining her legal guarding position.
Explain to us, like we were 5, obliquely. That's a word that lost me. Eddie goes to the lane. There's the foul.
There you go. See, but that one, I think she comes towards.
She does take away that space, right?
We could also say love handly, right? So oblique.
Thank you, Dane.
No? No? All right.
As Kaylee Ridge picks up the foul.
We're just going to let you roll with that.
I will not body shame on this program. Is that the...
I was talking about mine, Dusty. Mine.
Yeah, huh? As anybody who's watched the flashbacks later is like, man, I remember when Dusty looked like that. That was awesome. As Eddie misses on the first. I should send Vince the he has it. The PR video from this week is that one goes on the second one for Eddie, 41-27. Because I think it's an important one. I think we had a foul earlier this week. We had a player kind of went back, was moving as the offensive player was coming toward them. But there was some contact there, even though it's passive contact. As the 3 is there for Shawnee Nordstrom.
Wow. Like you said, just when Fremont thinks they got a chance.
And it's the blitz, right? You get the 3 ball shooters and Ika Ika hit the 3 too, but Woolston and Nordstrom. As that ball taken away by Kaylee Woolston. And over to Shawnee Nordstrom. 30 seconds left. About 5-second difference between game clock and shot clock. Is Shawnee going to hold up top? And now go to work. Nordstrom down the lane, floated up, crawls off. And the run out here with Langston. Langston at Doxy to the left, and the block from Kaylee Woolston. Does more than just shoot.
It's a really smart play. She doesn't do a whole lot. She just waits, swipes the last minute. It's a good play.
I think my phrase, I'll continue to say it. Just because it looks easy doesn't mean it's not impressive.
Thanks, Dusty.
You're welcome.
I'm going to use that in my pregame today. Oh, we're playing soccer now.
Yeah, I want to say. That's a header by Tanu Vasa. Smooth is fast, fast is slow. Name that movie.
Well, I was thinking Modern Family because
No.
he says
It's a serious
slow is
movie. It's not a
smooth and
comedy.
Smooth is fast.
The Notebook?
No.
You said
The Shooter with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, that's a good one.
Slow, smooth, smooth, fast. I think that's what it was. I had it wrong. You have to kind of mumble it to get the Mark Wahlberg part to get it in your head. 12 seconds left. Get inside to Langston. She hit the deck, and that's a traveling violation.
That's the difference. She goes down to the ground holding the ball. That's the difference. Versus the one earlier where she lets go of it. She grabs the ball. See, that was actually
a little closer
because it depends on when you call. She has possession.
So they had possession, and if she releases, she still has possession, right?
No, she
No?
lets go of it when she hits the ground. It's no longer. You got to have physical possession.
We might look at that in a second, but Woolston, Euro, and finish. Kaylee Woolston. And then to steal the Nordstrom after the time runs out. An impressive first half from Lone Peak. It's a 19-point Lone Peak lead. The reigning 6A champs 46, Fremont 27. You're watching the 2023 6A semifinals on KSLSports.com. All right, welcome back in. Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart, and Courtney Littledyke joining us here. But let's go to the Vince Francis happy hour here. Oh, there it is.
We got a personal foul here.
An unnecessary blankie. You just got to get warmed up for the game?
It's my jacket, man. I got too hot, so I just used it. It was cold.
It
in
does
there for
not
a
look
little bit.
like a jacket.
That's not a peacoat.
It does look like a grandma blanket. Did you knit that yourself?
Oh, Kay Littledyke gave that to him, so he has to keep it.
Yeah.
But which Kay Littledyke
one?
gave it to you?
That's a great question. That's definitely an inside joke.
I want to know. We've become really good friends. I want to know why I haven't gotten around to golf at Sleepy Ridge. That's really the crime in this whole situation.
Sleepy Ridge. I don't even get rounds. All right, we'll go. We'll go this summer when the snow finally melts.
Well, like July,
I mean, it's
August.
not gonna be good golf, but it will be golf one way or the other.
You
It's always
golf
good
with
golf.
me, you realize there's no good golf going on.
But it's been fun. So 46-27, and let's get Courtney's thoughts. What do we think? What have you thought of what we saw here in the first half?
Well, I don't know this. I don't have a stat sheet, but
I do.
I would dare say Lone Peak's probably shooting 70% from the field.
64%.
Yeah.
So, wow, you went over. You went over.
It felt like 70.
It did feel like 70.
But they're doing all the little things, right, and getting all the rebounds, and they're playing good defense, forcing turnovers, and I mean, I've seen Lone Peak girls play enough this year that they're a solid team, and I don't even know that it's going to be tough for anybody to beat them.
Well, in 6A, absolutely. I mean, it's just their
Well,
only
in any
losses.
classification.
Well, their only losses have been out of state,
right.
and they you took the #1 team in the country
So
to the wire.
you got 12 turnovers if you're Fremont. That's not Fremont basketball, and a lot of that's because you're playing Lone Peak.
That's correct.
You got 64% shooting from the floor, 60% from beyond the arc for Lone Peak, 4 for 4 at the line. They're being out-rebounded. I mean, there's the win for Fremont, 15-11 on the glass for the Silverwolves. But,
What's Fremont's shooting percentage?
They are 39% from the floor, 9 of 23, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc, 7 of 12 from the line.
I mean, if you look at it, in itself, if it was against anybody else other than Lone Peak, that's not terrible.
Here's Kaylee's line. 9 of 12 from the floor, 3 of 5 from long range, 2 of 2 from the line, 6 rebounds.
6 boards. 5 defensive, 1 offensive.
That's your
triple
guard.
double.
And now she has 7 rebounds.
That was a block.
I'm sorry, Buck. I was just putting things away, so thank you.
You're welcome.
It's time to pass it. Misses on
Just
that
another
one.
side of the stat sheet. Triple doubles looking better all the time.
It's getting closer and closer. You get a chance to look at that last defensive play here for Fremont. So, boys' game, I think they're shooting free throws. Is that a fair assessment? But what I just saw, we just saw.
Talking to a boys official. You
I
going
know.
to take that from him?
I'll replay it because Courtney was checking out the stat sheet too. I missed the block. He just missed the replay where I want to show him that. But as Sierra Langston has that one swatted away by Bartholomew. And there we go. I knew we'd have a foul here in a second. So let's show you this one. I'm just curious on the follow-through here. I think in the boys' game we're shooting free throws.
No, because I'm looking at that going, I'm not splitting hairs on that. I mean, she comes in a little bit, but
can I share why I
comes
think we're
back to
shooting
game
it?
management.
Can I tell you why I think we're shooting?
I have a feeling
The boy falls down.
No, that's opposite.
The boy falls down.
Well, okay.
The boy falls down because he watches it on
Yes.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday
Yes.
on TNT.
Yes, I totally. That's the other rule that I would like to see instituted is the flop rule.
Shawnee Nordstrom, another 3. Courtney, I have her in my top 5 favorite players to watch in the state. I love watching Shawnee Nordstrom. Of all the players we get to see, I love watching her game.
You see a lot. That says a lot too.
Hey, as an official, do you get heads up on rules that they're considering, or do you find out like the rest of us?
Well, they ask us for a survey. So at the end of the season, they will.
Oh,
send out a
Dusty's
survey.
eyes just lit up. He knows he's now got an in. You just made a really bad statement.
Well,
Not really.
how do you think we got the shot clock in?
I know.
because
See?
Because I got tired of listening
See?
to Dusty.
The third official,
Oh,
it was
my
15
gosh.
years ago. I got
all
the
right,
third
so
official. Got the
restricted area is going to be next.
No, it won't be for a while.
Not for.
Nah.
And why is that? Why is that?
Because you look at how many restricted area plays we probably get in high school. It's not as I don't think it's as much.
But I know it's not. But it's for when it happens. As we send out to Woolston wide to the right, and Langston comes away with that rebound.
Because it's on every Dusty
But here's
game.
what it takes out. It takes out what I call the Region 1 special, which we had last night in a key part of a
yeah,
game.
I got you.
The charge along the baseline
It's
underneath
a cheap
the hoop.
play.
Yeah.
So now remind you, the restricted area does not go to the baseline.
Thank you, because I said last
I
night
know.
that was
It
below
doesn't?
the restricted
It
circle.
doesn't?
You see it?
No,
You
it
see the
ends.
line? It ends.
All right, let's get that fixed right now. I did not realize
Well,
that.
it's behind the backboard. It's
That's why I
behind
made the comment
backboard.
last night.
But here's why I thought it. I thought it was just simply for optics on the floor that it didn't go all the way to the line. Here goes the shot from the corner. Nayatanu Vasa, the rebound to Woolston. Kaylee goes the opposite side to Bartholomew, but Sarah couldn't handle it. And the loose ball picked up by Fremont. Here comes Coombs. Alley down the lane goes at Tanu Vasa. Nice job of, hey, let's go through this one because you're going to have some Fremont fans saying, why not a foul? Let's turn to Courtney Littledyke.
Again, the one thing that is official. What did the defense do wrong?
Yeah.
That's why I was curious. That's why I want you to walk through the mechanics of why not.
And I get the coaches wants that, and they have every right to fight for their team, but that is just not. It's good guarding.
And welcome back in. We'll remind you that Mission Call opening season is right around the corner. If you got a missionary getting ready to go out to the field, go to Modern Missionary. go register and get a free gift. You saw there on our ad, a free gift. Get a shirt and washable tie. Get a modern missionary. For those of you who can get ready to go on serve LDS missions. As go inside and that was a King blocked away. Langston picks up the loose ball, and Bartholomew going to pick up the foul.
It's nice defense at the start there by Sarah, but then you get caught on the reach. That block, that's great positioning, and love the no give up, but not in good position on that second attempt, and Langston to the line.
Hey, the best thing is she owned the foul, right?
Yep.
Up her hand, she knew that she got stuck there. And not that, because she had the ball, too, for a moment. As Kaylee Rich is going to come in for Sarah, picks up her third personal foul.
That's what I've got.
So Rich comes on as Langston hits the free throws. 17-point game. So Kaylee Woolston goes at Allie Coombs. Back up top to Tanuvasa. The three from Shawnee Nordstrom. Another one for Shawnee. Her third three. Her second of the second half from way outside. And a 20-point advantage now for Lone Peak as Woolston hits the deck, and the foul going to be called here on Langston. Take a look at that last three. Go ahead, Dane.
Yeah, Lone Peak special. I mean, we talked about Kaylee, ability to stretch beyond that arc. Shawnee's done it as well tonight.
Again, the winner going to play the winner of Davis and Skyridge. Be in all Region 4. We go back to Region 4, Region 1. Nordstrom curls right around, opposite side, can't get that angle to go. And
dual possession, yeah.
Dual possession going to stay here.
Hands right on top of it. Go for the shot. That's well done.
Now, just because she turned and lost it doesn't mean it's not dual possession, right?
That's correct. A lot of times in these games, I mean, we see a lot of alternating possession, throw-ins, stuff like this, where sometimes we'll let them try to fight through it a little bit until you got players go to the floor, and then it kind of becomes more of a safety issue. You don't want them dropping elbows on each other and something stupid happens. So
Tanuvasa tried to make a little pocket pass out of bounds off of Fremont. And I'll say this is the girls' game. The girls stay way more calm in those situations than the boys. Boys get way more hyped up on jump balls. And maybe it's because they don't happen as frequently with the boys as they do in the girls' game. But the guys, man, it's immediate. I think it's like, hey, I don't blame a fast whistle in the boys' jump ball situation.
Well, and the other thing, too, is that they won't let go. It's like a pride thing for them. Say, who's got to hold on to the longest, and it just gets into a WWF.
WWE, make sure you get that right. You don't want the World Wildlife Foundation to get you on that.
Showing my experience.
Oh,
didn't it used to be WWF?
It was until the early
2000s,
late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
They had to change it.
Thanks, Dusty.
Hey, you're welcome. The things the internet took from us. On the angle, Tanuvasa, 4-3. Naya Tanuvasa, another one of these underclassmen. Remember how good this Lone Peak team is. It's Woolston and Ika. They'll be leaving the floor from the players on this team, really, that are the main contributors. Is back the other end, Charlie Hunt. Oh, that's pretty. Gets the finish there.
Kennedy, freshman, going to learn on this. That's nice usage of that high screen. Kennedy really doesn't have much of a chance on making that play. I know you're going for the block, but that's a tough play.
And how different this game would be. Always come back to reminder, just because it's fun, mainly because I enjoy watching Utah athletes go do cool things. But this game would be a little different if Maggie Mendelson hadn't reclassified. She'd be a senior in this game tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But Maggie contributing at Nebraska, both on the volleyball court and on the basketball floor. So impressive. And she is not even a minor celebrity. If you follow her on Instagram, young kids come take pictures with Maggie after every game. And you get videos of people come rushing up to come talk to Maggie Mendelson.
That's what you get in Nebraska.
Isn't that
right?
awesome?
Like,
she has an NIL deal for, was it Donruss playing cards? As that ball rims out. She was did a little bit for some chrome-plated college cards. As come back the other way, Allie Coombs can't get that on the rebound. To Lone Peak come back the other way as Ika had that ball squeak out. I did not know that James Tate, who interacts with us all the time on the Twitterverse,
Yeah.
that he was a Nebraska guy. And you thought he was a
I thought he was
recruiter.
yeah, I thought he was there recruiting. It looked official, man. I'm just saying.
What was it, a Saturday morning show back in the day? Hang time as that ball goes out of bounds?
He had a little portfolio and everything. I was like, that's
he has a
gotta be
portfolio
coach.
too? Oh, that
Yeah.
definitely
I was
has,
like, That's got to be a coach.
I remember the first times we were at Wasatch Academy, there was someone there that had a portfolio, and it had like a Jayhawk on it. I'm like, well, they're obviously here for in Aruna, so I go talk to him. No. That's a nay answer. I see a guy, mid-50s. Definitely thought he was from Middle America. I mean, no doubt. Tucked in polo shirt. I mean, why wouldn't it be? And then it turns out to be it was Trevor Phibbs. Come back the other way. That shot won't drop for Allie. Now on the run with Lone Peak. Katie Lawrence going to drive at Eddie. Sent back out to Woolston. Now Ika. Oh,
Yeah, late.
let's get this one here from Courtney. Why is this a moving screen? Is it a moving screen? What is it?
Yeah, it's an illegal screen. She's going to come up. It's a blind screen.
Quick movement by
Yeah.
Ika. You're not set.
It's and not to mention as a screen, you're going to screen against somebody that's doesn't know you're there. You have to give time and distance, and that's an illegal screen on a couple different fronts.
So is that
That's
a
good call.
blindside block?
Yes, that would be 15 yards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't get crackback blocks anymore. But what's different with that than a player is if Eddie would come down the lane here, is you're going to have the foul up top, same thing, come back the other way. But if she's coming down the lane and you have somebody have defenders that box out or offensive players that box out the defender on a drive, what's the difference?
Like a seal play? They're just going to seal their player on
seal, but even move with them a little bit.
Yeah.
But what's the difference?
Really, we have to determine at that point if we think that the defender is actually trying to make a play and how much of that is playing a factor. In other words, some defenders will just give up on it. Like they'll just go, oh, I can't get to it, and they'll stop. But if we see them trying to fight through it, then yeah, you could definitely have illegal screen on it.
Now, what if it was a power dribble on top of it? I'm just we come back and see her Eddie.
Then we're
retreats
definitely
to the
not
corner.
calling anything.
We played Stump the Official and Dane won.
Oh,
He
stop.
did win. He did win. Because you gave the same response I gave him. It was funny. It was almost the exact same. I'm like, well, it's I don't know.
It's just silence.
What I said is I actually think there's a difference in the power dribble versus what Dane was talking about. We'll have to go through the mechanic on that later, but if the opportunity rises. And we apologize, but 55-35, we know this is one of our favorite games, but it's a little different. We'll try to talk some things through this as Cadence King with the bucket and cuts it to 18. Certainly if you're Fremont, trying to find some way to maybe get this to 10 as Ika comes back the other way. Was it in her habitual
the
shooting
floor.
motion?
No, that's on the floor.
Yep.
They're calling it on the gather.
They're going to talk
No, they're
about
still
it.
talking through it.
I think that's on the floor.
On the gather versus habitual shooting motion, she had not gotten that shot uploaded into the system yet.
See, I'm not an official, but I could be.
I
was
told you
only-
you should be.
I was trying to create intrigue.
Baby. Such a baby.
Trying to create intrigue on that one. I didn't think it was. But she had yet to upload that into the database for you guys to know if she wasn't in her habitual shooting motion.
So this is you talk about that and we joke a little bit, but it's kind of an interesting debate as we watch another habitual shooting motion.
Yeah, couldn't get that one to go.
Because it used to be that like if you were gathered, right? You talk about gather, and it's not really oh, that's Gusson.
There you go. Right, that's an example where that box out on a drive is impeding the ability of the defender.
But they're calling a defensive foul there on Tanuvasa.
Yeah,
She's not
was holding.
allowing the player to work around.
That's correct. Freedom of movement. You got to allow the player to. I mean, you're entitled to your space. You're just not entitled to allow her to not have hers.
Hey, anything that hurts Tony Bennett's brand of basketball at the University of Virginia, I am all for. And there's, kind of look there is on the drive and it's sent away there by Michaela Ika. There's Coach Delabout wants a foul, not the block here. I got a little late.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a point. I mean, at this point, she's, saying, look, man, she's trying to fight for her kids, and every point matters, and every possession counts, and so you don't blame her.
Especially if she's moving in, right? Even if she's vertical, she still can't move in as well. Adds a little salt to the wound there. Tanu Vasa.
Yeah.
You don't get the call on one end, come back this way, get the +1 as Tanu Vasa crawls in a highlight reel shot.
Yeah, it's tough play. I don't know if she got tripped up or if she lost her balance, because sometimes she knew she had gotten stuck a little bit, so she just tried to make a heck of an athletic play and did, but it sold the foul.
So we head inside of 50 seconds left in the quarter. Charlie Hunt, series of moves, sends back out to Cale Bryan. Cale goes at Nordstrom, gets the foul. And another one. This is why I like Kevin Fischel's there, because we can walk through, but it's more fun when it's officially official.
Okay, now again, we're getting late in the third. We're almost in the fourth quarter. They've done a pretty good job of trying to manage this game, but at this point, the one thing we don't want to do is have Fremont check out. Like, we need them to be engaged in this game. So we try to do, we may be a little bit lenient on more on one side, but we can't pass on fouls against Lone Peak when you're up by 20 and you're, so again, it's almost like, like I said, we can get deep in the weeds on this, but it's a lot about game management and how to be able to deal with it, and it's what separates the good officials from the great ones.
That's why when it's 7-1 in team fouls, I say real quickly, it's going to be 7-5 or 8-6 here, really fast. We'll debate that later.
Yeah.
I did that for fun.
Yeah, you're going to be in trouble if you get that one going.
20 seconds left in the third.
I'll light you up.
He'll tee you up so fast you won't know what hit you.
I'll throw you out of here.
I've got receipts as we go to 10 seconds left in the quarter.
Button.
There comes Woolston, loses the handle on that one. Coombs kind of chucked that one up there. Didn't need to, as Eddie trying to save that off of Nordstrom. And it's at the end of the third quarter. At the end of 3, it's Lone Peak 58, Fremont 38. You're watching the 2023 6A semifinals. Welcome back into the D Event Center. Dusty Lister, Dane Stewart, and Courtney Littledyke chirping in. He has to remember I got control of his volume as we go into the fourth quarter. A 20-point game. Lone Peak leading Fremont. It's Mission Call season coming up here very soon. If you got someone open up a mission call, go to Modern Missionary. Go register, and you'll get a free shirt and washable tie. As I'm thinking about the program first, Courtney, before we bring in that third microphone.
He had to spend 15 seconds in the box for roughing of the play-by-play.
Jeez.
As Preston, the intern, is the one that presses the button. You have to remember that. As I wonder if we got some little conversation here at the scores here. Right as we were getting ready to start, I don't know if we got is it a foul clarification?
There was an indication at the
it
table.
Might be which way they were going to go. Maybe it's directional.
Up and
we're going to have a quick meeting in the minds here.
Hey, so while you guys are thinking about it, you guys have a favorite place you guys like to broadcast? I mean, all the places, the venues you've been. You guys have a
talking
favorite?
High school or in the state venue?
Let's just go high school for now. Well, okay, but like here, like Weber State versus Utah or
for
anywhere.
Basketball or any sport?
Let's say basketball.
I like the Marriott Center. I really liked it. It has nothing to do with my preferences of colors and things like that.
It's just a nice cool.
But I like it. I like the viewpoint is outstanding.
You're really high there. I felt like we were really far from the floor.
You felt that way?
Center.
Steep
Yeah.
I thought we were further away.
Yeah.
The Huntsman Center is further away. I thought the Marriott Center was a little better viewpoint.
I just remember I felt like we were taller than the scoreboard there.
Yeah.
It felt like you were looking down at the scoreboard.
I remember that. Yeah.
It felt like it was a very deep bowl.
I do like the Huntsman Center.
I like the setup at the Huntsman Center. You have your own little booth. It's very nice.
So as far as that goes,
that is nice.
High school wise, I will take any new gym with a track. That's kind of my preference. New gym.
Because it's kind of a little bit more open, huh?
Well, you have space.
We're not fighting people as we find that ball inside, and Cadence King lays that one up and in. Like we do every Lone Peak game, and Lone Peak fans know that, and we enjoy it. But it's a little stressful for me. We walk in JV games. I don't like going asking parents to move.
Well, and here's a great example, right? I'll tell you this: one of the loudest gyms in the building is Fremont.
Yeah, Fremont. Yep.
But you better get there an hour and a half, 2 hours early, because to that point, like the community comes out, and it's awesome because it gets super loud. The student section's full. Like they are great. But yeah, you're right in the bleachers with everybody.
Let's have you look at this double dribble call here on Woolston. Oh, yeah. Well,
so to me, this is a gather. Like she's not really dribbling it. She's trying to get possession of the ball. For me, I don't think that's a dribble to start. But I do know a number of officials. I mean, it really just depends on what your opinion is and why you see that. For me, that's not. I think she's trying to get. It's like a big. You see an entry pass to the big, and they're trying to gather it. Yes, they're dribbling it, but I don't call it a dribble. I think they're trying to gather the pass. To me, they're separate.
Just had a good help from our guy at the table, Dan Barney. Team foul clarification at the table before the start of the quarter. So thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. Sometimes we aren't always. I mean, I asked officials to run up 30 rows, but they didn't like that suggestion. So
let's see what Courtney doesn't know. Maybe he does know. Is that Dan's a former broadcast partner of ours?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But Dane and I were really young. Most people realize you guys have been around forever. It's like, well, we were really young when we started.
Yeah.
Dane was 22. I was 21. And but yeah, we come do state tournament games and we get a bunch of broadcasters, and Dan was one of them.
He's got a great voice, man. That guy, I love when he announces my games.
As Tanavasa hits the baseline jumper, come back quickly the other way with Fremont inside. Sierra Eddy didn't get that one to go. Langston with the board on the backside, and then the block from Bartholomew. As if she doesn't get it, it's definitely a foul for coming down.
Just gone out of bounds. Yep.
Tell you, Fremont's competed. They've not been shy, or I really like the effort they've put into it.
As Sierra Eddy short on the three.
Haven't been able to score it as much as Lone Peak has. Efficiency still just off the charts.
Woolston finds Bartholomew, and Sarah. I think it was her first bucket.
No, second.
Second? Okay. So 4 points for the post. And as down the lane goes Charlie Hunt. Didn't get that one to go. Almost a carbon copy of the and one she got before, but didn't get the hoop and the harm on that one. As we dip inside of 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, as Lone Peak on the cusp of getting to back-to-back state championship games as Kaylee Woolston gets in the lane and scores.
First points of the second half for Kaylee. I've said that all year long. I feel like it's Shawnee for a half, Kaylee for a half, and everybody else fills in the gaps. And it's I don't mean that as a knock anywhere, but it's just like there's so much talent there. You know, Ika will have a quiet 9, you know, and they're all like big play. It's just like the talent on this team, you just don't see it.
Well, when it comes at you in waves, is they called the foul on Bartholomew. It's her 5th. So Sarah will foul out. And, folks, I'll tell you this. I've done a good portion of all the games for Lone Peak this year, including their games at the Holiday Hoop Fest. I can only think of 2 games they had a player foul out. At Westlake in the last game of the season when Shawnee Nordstrom fouled out, and then right here with Sarah Bartholomew.
Doesn't happen often.
Tanuvasa fires that ball inside, and power dribble and stripped away. On the run, Hunt to Doxy, sent away by Tanuvasa. And the ball will go off of Fremont and will go with Lone Peak.
And I want to clarify my previous comment. I don't want to make, Lone Peak fans too upset. Like I do the Springville game, and I think Shawnee has like 18 and a half.
Yeah.
And then Kaylee has, 15 in the second half. I mean, it's just like you talk about in waves. It's furious, it's fast, it's intense. And just when you feel like, all right, we're going to stop her, then you got, the other going. And then when you stop her, you got a third. It's just like it literally overwhelms opposing teams.
Well, it's because when they know that their coach could probably beat them, and I mean in basketball, they got to play that well. Because Nancy Celius is Nancy Warner, formerly Nancy Celius, former Ms. Basketball.
Have you asked her if she still plays like pickup or 3-point contest or anything like that with her girls?
I haven't. No, and I think she would say, no, I couldn't do that. She's so nice. And there's a steal. Katie Lawrence with the steal and the run out. And the bucket. And where Nancy Warner gets a lot of love. Gary Celius is a former coach, and we've been around her, but when her mom's so nice to us too, you know, it's kind of works. And she gets my references, thank goodness. Is down the baseline and out of bounds.
Of course, covered her brother, Zach. There's a lot of history with the Celius family.
Zach's biggest shot in his high school career. I happen to be the voice on that one.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have been their ball, but that's neither here nor there. I was going to ask Jason Workman about that yesterday. I thought I wouldn't. Didn't want to go there. There's Tanu Vasa. It was on this floor, too. In the corner.
Who were they playing that game?
Murray. Murray would tell you that ball went off of Bountiful.
I thought
and then Zach Celius just beyond. I mean, it was really falling out of bounds.
At midcourt.
At midcourt, hits that shot.
I remember that.
Zach Celius from downtown.
I remember that game.
And that would have been like a huge upset.
Huge upset. And that was a young Murray team that ended up getting to number one in the state the next year. Is lobbed that ball inside. Cadence King misses on the layup. Yeah, it was Hodges and Chrisman and Wall Jasper. That was a fun team that Workman had that year. It was a 4 versus 1. Go back when we had that whole thing of 4 teams from each region. And it was on the way to Bountiful's first state championship. They beat Kearns. They knocked out, beat Dan Cosby and Bushman Ebet.
Do you have, is it different officiating in different buildings, different gyms? Or is it all, hey, floors are all the same size?
For the most part. I mean, you have some of those high schools that are so small, which is great, so I don't have to run. But I actually prefer the space. I like.
So you like going to Highland, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Judge. But it's. I actually like the bigger floors. I like to space it out, so it just makes it.
Let me say that Judge is an underrated broadcast venue. We shoot from behind. I mean, we have to shoot behind the ball. Yeah, Judge. We're on the walkway when the team comes out.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. The old 90s NBA Live 95, 96 style. That was fun. Wasatch Academy is a lot of fun. Dane and I used to do every home game a few years ago, the Wasatch Academy, which made for great road trips. Watched BYU lose to Kansas in that.
A lot of scary drives. Dusty's watching competitive games and
driving in the snow.
Driving in the snow.
With deer crossings and
no spin outs though. I do those on my own.
He's a very confident individual.
Time out on the floor. Full timeout. We'll be back.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
So welcome back in. Dusty Lister, Dane Stewart, Courtney Littledyke with you. And we're reminding you, we got spring break coming up. And if you wanted your athletes just to get out, be active, go check out the schedule, utahjazzcamps.com, and find where the Utah Jazz Camps are going to come. And my favorite thing is the swag bag, because it's not – look, sometimes you go by in these camps with your kids, you think, oh, they get some gear. These Jazz Camps get a ton of gear. There's a steal. And coming back the other way, Katie Lawrence there, he took it away there from Herrick, as there is the bucket there for number 40. That is Beth Hacker. But you get multiple shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve, get the purple shirt. and my favorite thing, the Nike backpack. Can't have too many good backpacks. As Meg Eaton sends that ball out to Kennedy Woolston. Now Lawrence finds that baseline jumper for Page. Couldn't get it. Board and put back. It's going to put Kennedy at the line to shoot 2. What's it like building relationships? We had guys we cover, or gals, I should say that too, because Woolston's a 4-year starter, where you see these kids for 4 years, kind of watch them develop. Are those guys there that mind you, what's that like for you as an official?
I love it. It's one of my most favorite things is be able to develop a little bit of relationships with these players. And more or less, for me, it's a part of a recruiting tool. I know some of these, at one point, these kids will be done playing, but they should come officiate. I mean, it's one thing to be on that side of the coin, but there's so much to be done on our side that they're great for it too. So for me, it's part of it. It's a recruiting tool.
Well, because when you talk about game management, I mean, the experience they had playing would be so helpful, right, in helping to understand kind of that concept and that rhythm and that flow and that.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to get the player out of them because they call a game like they want it as a player, and sometimes that's great, and sometimes it's not. So it's been able, but they have such a feel for the game, and they understand concepts and schemes and defenses, and they can read that stuff. So it really helps.
And we need more former players joining. We have too many loan officers and highway patrolmen and stuff that are so tough. We need more insurance salesmen, reps, sales guys in general. I mean, we need more chameleons out there.
Agreed.
And their ball goes out of the hands of Lawrence on the run. Kale had that one swatted away by Kennedy Woolston. And, folks, if you don't know, we talk about Kaylee a lot. Kennedy, the freshman sister of the Woolstons, as that one is lost, already has a couple of Division I offers. BYU, Utah State. I think you may have jumped in there recently. I'm not 100% positive on that. But she's going to play at the next level. As lost a defender there. We're going to have a traveling violation. So we had about a minute left here in the fourth quarter. Someone there you wouldn't say, well, the contact center to the floor because then you didn't want to call a foul. I mean, I know we're late in the game.
Yep. At this point, it's just, game management to the max. You're just trying to make sure that no one does something stupid. Game's been pretty much decided, so it's, just keep everybody in check.
As Lawrence has them go off the hands of Sam Pope. So when do you get nerves still? Because I know for us, we get state championship games. I mean,
nerves is.
Or just excitement.
Yes, totally. Every game. Every time I come to this floor, every time I come to these venues, it's just exciting. And more or less because you know how awesome it is for the kids.
Right.
And, players and everything. I mean, it's a big deal. And it's, even though for me, it's like, I've been here before, but it's, I love it. I love the whole atmosphere. I love the relationships. I love everything about it. She took, looks like a tweaked knee or something.
Yeah.
She's little ginger on that leg.
And that's the thing, because I'm going to take this. I think it's Doxy.
She may have actually just hit knees going in.
Let's see if Doxy can walk off the floor. We think anytime I see a Fremont player hurt knee, I always think of Haley Duff.
Yeah, that was just tears your heart.
The ACL against Bingham, and she tried to finish the game.
Yeah.
And of course, as Doxy can get checked out there on the sideline, and Charlie Hunt will take the free throws. But that's the thing, because I think for officials, and even for us, I think about it here is, I had someone actually ask me before, it was a couple days ago, like, hey, what's it like? I always think that I was frustrated at the beginning of the game. I tripped up at our open because they're going to go back and rewatch these games, and our voice will be part of whatever happens, right? They're going to always go back and think of that. And not only that, I always remember umpires from games that I played in or coached. Yep. I can remember umpires. They might not remember me in the situations, but I remember him. There's a certain umpire, he knows anytime I'm around him, and I had his daughter was helping me out in baseball games last year. So let me tell you a funny story about your dad. because it stays there. And that's one of those cool moments during the national anthem to think about, too. But Fremont, for the first time in a long time, Dane not going to make it to the state title game. It's been a while. And the new rival for Fremont, it's been Bingham. Right now, the last few years, it's Lone Peak.
Well, was Bingham the last semi-loss?
Yes. It
was. That was the final last year, right? Lone Peak Fremont.
Yeah, Lone Peak Fremont is Lone Peak. These Kaylee Woolston and McKaylee Ika, as they were coming up, it was go beat Fremont, and they will finish their high school careers having gone 2-0 in the state tournament against the Fremont Silverwolves.
Pretty impressive. I mean, the way they play tonight, no one's beating them in this state. It's just, we talk about the efficiency, the good shooting. The Avalanche came, it was Kaylee Woolston early, really set the tone, and just not a lot that Fremont could do to combat that. Great effort. I thought they played really hard the entire game. Fremont did. Just Lone Peak, the better team tonight.
Absolutely. Well, Courtney, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate the insight.
Always, man. It's always good to hang out with you boys.
We get one game break, and you'll be back on the hardwood. But our final score, Lone Peak 67, Fremont 45. Congratulations to Fremont on another spectacular year for Coach Lisa DeLaval, and congratulations to Coach Nancy Warner and the Lone Peak Knights going back to the state championship game with a chance to defend their 6A crown. Again, our final score, Lone Peak 67, Fremont 45. Our Heidemann Associates player of the game, Kaylee Woolston. For Vince Francis, Dane Stewart, Courtney Littledyke, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us, for watching KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of the 2023 6A State Basketball Tournament on your home for championships, KSLSports.com.